Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm bringing you my top baits for the month of October. All my beginners out there, this is for you guys, the baits that will help you catch bass this time of year because it's cold, but they're still out there. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. All right, folks. Yes, it's October. Any month you can go fishing is a great month for fishing. Let's talk about what's happening in October, what the bass are looking for, what they're doing, and then what baits we're using to capitalize on the bass's behavior. All right, so the first thing we're going to think about is what are the bass doing? So the bass are now the corralling bait fish. They're corralling shad into small coves, pockets, pushing up shallow so they could feed up and get ready for winter. We're looking at the bass's pattern. They're really starting to school up together. So they may be harder to find, right? So a lot of baits we're going to talk about are searching baits where you can find these bass. Once you find bass, there may be a lot of bass there, so you want to stay in that spot and really fish it out. When we're talking about corralling bait fish, we're looking at shad. The shad are now matured, right? Those bait fish are now maturing a little bit, so they're getting bigger in size. There's more of them, so bass are really starting to feed up on them, and bigger bass are starting to feed up on them too because they're starting to grow a little bit in size. All the baits I'm going to be doing are going to represent that bait fish style presentation, but we really want our bait to stand out among those shad presentations. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to do that in three ways. The first way is vibration, right? If your bait has a different vibration or bigger vibration than the bass, than the bait fish around it, it's going to get more attention. So we use vibration to stand out from the crowd. Another way we're going to stand out from the crowd is that flash, right? Creating flash in the water is going to help your bait stand out from the fish around it. It may push that shad away, but it's going to entice those bass to bite. And the last thing is size, right? I'm actually going to fish some bigger sizes than usual. So I like really small finesse style presentations, but this time of year, I kind of switch and start upsizing a little bit to make my bait stand out more, right? The bigger bait fish might get a bigger bite, right? So those are three things I'm thinking about as I'm bringing baits to the table this month. So let's get into what baits I'm using. All right, so the first bait we got here, hey, the jerk bait. I talked about it already. As the water gets colder, I'm fishing the jerk bait more and more, and I'm fishing it slower and slower as the water gets colder. I actually got out the other day. I put my foot in that water, boy, it was cold, man. So I put the jerk bait on right away. Something I want to mention, I've already talked about the hard jerk bait, so I won't talk about that as much this time. But what I will talk about is the soft plastic jerk bait, right? This is a fluke right here. I mentioned it before, and I've always mentioned it in the context of fishing around weeds. Another place that this bait specifically shines is shallow, right? If I'm fishing super shallow, but I want this presentation, this quick reaction, hungry hunter kind of style jerks from this soft plastic, it's really hard to get with the hard jerk bait, right? Not all of them are able to stay in that 1 foot, 2 foot range. A lot of them go 2 feet to 6 feet, right? If you're on a shallow diving jerk bait. So to capitalize on that, I'm using this bad boy, right? I'm able to fish this really shallow, less than a foot of water, still have that presentation, and still get bites when the bass are pushing those bait fish up super shallow, right? So this also shines, once again, shallow fishing. You can throw this out there to where current's flowing, throw this out there to really shallow places and twist this back out, and it will get a bite. All right, so now we're talking about vibration and flash. You can't talk about vibration and flash without talking about the chatterbait. Depending on your body of water, a mini max might work or a jackhammer might work, but notice the color difference. I've fished a lot of bluegill presentations. But you see on right here, I have this chartreuse in white with a sexy shad, some largo shad style presentations, right? That vibration will help it stand out. The blade on that chatterbait will give you that flash that you're looking for. Bigger vibration with the big blade or the jackhammer is also helpful too, but the chatterbait is a really good bait this time of year, giving off that vibration, giving off that flash. I talk about chatterbaits all the time. You can fish chatterbaits year round. I present it differently, but when you're searching for bass, there's almost no better bait than the chatterbait other than our next bait. Honestly, I don't have the next bait on me right now because yesterday or the day before that, I was out fishing, catching bass on a spinner bait. I love me a spinner bait, and this is going to be a key tip for all my beginners out there. When you catch a bass, make sure you check your line. I caught a nice smallmouth on my white and chartreuse spinner bait, double willow blade. Caught a nice bass on it, let it go, got ready to set the next cast. I cast that bad boy, and then boom, spinner bait was gone, my line was still there. So goodbye to that spinner bait, one of my favorite ones, but Spinnerbait does everything you need it to do this time of year. It gives that vibration, it gives that flash, and not only does it present a shad presentation, but it presents almost like a bait ball, right? Like a small group of bait fish that are going together, right? So that's once again attracting attention. Like an umbrella A-rig or umbrella rig, I do a spinnerbait, and it does a great job of searching for bass, right? But presenting that really nice bait fish presentation, bunch of shad going together, really big bites on the spinnerbait this time of year. So awesome bait for that. I wish I had one to show you. With that one particular, white and chartreuse, was really good for me the other day. All right, and the last one for today is the Underspin. We talked about the Underspin last month, but this month I'm doing a little bit differently. I have a couple tips to share with you this month on the spinnerbait that's helped me improve my hookup ratio as well. So this month is a little bit different from Underspin. We talked about it last month, but with the Underspin, I'm upsizing my bait, right? So usually with the Underspin, I'm going 3-inch, 3.5-inch max. For my Underspin, a super small presentation. This month, I'm upping my weight, right, to 3/8 ounce, right, instead of 3/16. Right, I'm upping my weight a little bit on the Underspin, but I'm also upping the size of my swim bait, right? So this Kitech is 3.8. I might use a 4-inch X-Zone Swammer. You can go to a 4.7-inch if you want to. Upsizing the size of my swim bait, right? So that is giving that bigger presentation to those fish and enticing them to bite, right? That size of that bait fish. Another thing that changed with me with the Underspin. Last month and early this month, I had a really hard time hooking up to my fish, right? So I was getting it out there, they were biting at it, but every time I set that hook, the fish was spitting it out. And this past weekend, I went out, and one thing that changed was I actually wanted a higher gear reel, and I switched from doing fluorocarbon to braid, right? So I was actually in a rush. I put my top water reel on that has 50-pound braid on it, and I just said, you know, I'm going to go to town with this because what I got to get out there fast. And I did not miss a hookup that entire time. So if you're missing hook sets with fluorocarbon, if you're missing hook sets with your reel, I suggest going to braid, right? I have 50-pound on right now, but you'll probably get away with 20 or 30-pound braid. It did not bend the hook out. It was on point. So that's something that helped me out with my hookup ratio. And I'm going to try this again out when I go out this weekend. Underspin, they damage, upsizing the size of that swim bait. So there you have it, folks. So it's my baits for the month of October. Like I said, it is getting darker earlier and colder, but it is still a great time to fish. So make sure you're getting out there, getting all the fishing you can, because winter is coming, and I kind of hate it, to be honest with you. But hey, it's part of the season, all right? Well, thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video.